Let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself when you answer. When was the last time you let yourself feel like you were actually getting somewhere? Because for so many of us, the default setting is the opposite, a low, constant hum of being behind. However much we do, it never feels like enough. Whatever we build, we look at it and mostly see how far there still is to go. We are, almost all of us, quietly convinced that we are standing still. Tonight, the sky offers a gentle argument against that. It is July 18th, 2026, and if you step outside after sunset and look to the west, you will see the moon, a clear, unmistakable crescent, about 15% lit and climbing in Cancer. And here is the thing worth pausing on. 4 nights ago, that same sky was completely dark. The moon was invisible, a new moon, nothing to see at all. And in just 4 quiet nights, with no strain and no drama, she has grown into something you can now plainly see. This is your moon letter for the quiet proof, the night to notice that the small, patient thing you've been tending has already become visible, whether or not you let yourself admit it. In the next few minutes, I want to show you why we're almost blind to our own progress, the quiet math that's been working in your favor, and how to finally let yourself see and feel how far you've actually come. This is about you. Let's open it. Look at her tonight. This is no longer the barely there thread of a few evenings ago. The crescent is clearly drawn now, about 15% lit, riding a little higher, holding its curve of light with quiet confidence. And the most moving part is not how she looks tonight, but how she got here. She did not force her way to fullness. She did not strain or panic that she was behind, or give up on the nights she was almost invisible. She simply returned, a little more each night, and let the light accumulate. 4 nights of small, faithful returning, and now there is something anyone can see. That is exactly what has been happening in your life, in the places you've been quietly showing up. You have been measuring yourself against the full moon you're not yet, and missing entirely the dark sky you're no longer. Tonight, the crescent asks you to stop staring at how far there is to go, and to simply look at how far the light has already come. The energy of these growing crescent nights is momentum, but tonight it carries a very specific instruction, and it's not the one you'd expect. The waxing moon is building, yes, but Cancer, the sign she's moving through, is not asking you to push harder. Cancer is the sign of feeling, of the inner world, of letting things land in the body and the heart. So the invitation tonight is not do more. It is notice how much you've already done and let yourself actually feel it. This matters more than it sounds. Most of us treat progress like a receipt we glance at and throw away. We hit a milestone, feel nothing, and immediately move the goalpost. And so we run for years and never once let ourselves arrive anywhere. Tonight's energy is asking you to break that pattern for one evening, to stop, turn around, and take in the ground you've already covered before you take a single step more. You cannot keep pouring from a self that is never allowed to feel like it's winning. Tonight, let yourself feel like you're winning, because quietly you are. In human design, the sun is on its last night in gate 62, the gate of detail, of the small, of the exact and the precise, and it goes out on its highest, quietest note. Gate 62's final line is about the mastery that comes not from grand gestures, but from small true things done, and done again, until they become part of you. It is the wisdom that whispers. The big visible result you're now starting to see was never built by one heroic effort. It was built by the small, unglamorous, repeated things. The one intention you named, the one quiet act you kept returning to, the tiny corrections nobody applauded. Tonight, this gate wants you to give those small things their due. Because tomorrow the energy shifts and moves on, and it would be a shame to close this chapter still believing that your progress came from nowhere, or from luck, or that it doesn't count. It came from you, from the small things you quietly mastered. Name them tonight. Let them be honored before the sky turns the page. So let's go to the root of it. why we are so strangely, stubbornly blind to our own progress, even when it's real. There are 3 quiet reasons, and once you see them, they lose a lot of their power. The first is simply that you are inside the change. Growth that you live through, day by day, is almost impossible to perceive because you never get to stand outside it and compare. It's like your own face. You see it every day, so you never notice it slowly changing, while someone who hasn't seen you in a year gasps at the difference. Your progress is happening at exactly the speed you can't detect. The second reason is that we measure against the wrong point. We hold ourselves up against the goal, the full moon, the finished version, the person who's arrived, and against that, we always look lacking. We almost never measure against the start, the dark sky, the version of us who hadn't even begun. Measured forward, we're failing. Measured backward, we've come remarkably far. And the third reason is the cruelest. Real, sustainable growth is, day to day, too small to see. 1% more light does not announce itself. It feels like nothing on any given night. It only becomes visible when it has quietly stacked, when 4 nights, or 4 weeks, or 4 years of almost nothing suddenly add up to something undeniable. So you spend the whole climb feeling flat and stuck, precisely because the change is too gentle to feel in the moment. Here is what that means, and it's important. The flat, going nowhere feeling is not evidence that you're going nowhere. It is the completely normal, expected sensation of real growth while you're still inside it. The feeling of stuck and the fact of climbing live together far more often than anyone tells you. So, let's do the quiet math, because it's genuinely on your side. Think again about what actually happened in the sky this week. On the 14th, the moon was new, 0, invisible, nothing to show. Nobody looking up would have believed anything was coming. And then a sliver, then a little more, then a little more. No single night looked like much. If you'd stood outside on the 15th and demanded to see real progress, you'd have been disappointed. 3% of light is almost nothing. But 3%, laid on 3%, laid on 3%, night after faithful night, is exactly how you get to a crescent the whole world can see by the 18th. This is the math almost no one respects, because it's too quiet to be exciting. Small amounts, repeated without stopping, compound into visible, undeniable results. And they do it in the dark, in the part of the process where you can't yet see them working. The reason this matters for your actual life is that you are almost certainly underestimating your own compounding right now. The daily walk, the hard conversation you keep choosing, the small boundary you keep holding, the tiny practice you return to. On any single day, each of these feels pointless, too small to matter. But they are not being wasted. They are stacking silently, in a place your eyes can't reach yet, exactly the way the moon's light stacked while you weren't watching. Consistency is not slow. That's the great lie. Consistency is simply quiet. It does its most important work where you can't see it, and then one night you look up, and there it is plainly lit, and you can hardly believe it was building the whole time. So, how do you actually live this tonight? Not as a nice idea, but as something your body finally believes? This is where Cancer, holding tonight's crescent, does its gentle work. The whole task tonight is to let the proof land, not just in your head, but in your chest. Start by doing the thing we almost never do. Measure backward. Cast your mind to the new moon 4 nights ago, or to a month ago, or to this time last year, whichever version of you is standing in more darkness, and honestly ask, what is different now? Not what's still missing. What has actually grown? Maybe it's something small and real. You've kept a promise to yourself for 4 days running. You've been gentler with yourself than you used to be. You said a hard thing you'd have swallowed a year ago. You're still standing somewhere you once thought you couldn't. Find the true thing, however quiet, and then, instead of your usual reflex of, but it's not enough yet, do something radical. Let it be enough for one night. Put a hand on your chest, where Cancer wants the feeling to live, and say it plainly to yourself. Look how far I've already come. And then just let it land. Let it be true in your body for a moment, without immediately taking it back. That is not complacency. It will not make you lazy. It is the exact opposite, because a person who is allowed to feel their own progress is a person who can keep going for the long haul, while a person who never gets to feel it eventually, quietly, burns out and quits. Receiving your own progress is not a reward you get at the end. It is the fuel that gets you there. Tonight, let yourself receive it. Here is your ritual for the quiet proof, and it is less about doing and more about finally seeing. When the evening settles, step outside if you can, and actually look at the crescent moon, the visible climbing one, not the idea of it. Take a real moment with it, and let it remind you that 4 nights ago it wasn't there at all. Then bring your own life to mind and name, out loud, one thing that has genuinely grown since the new moon. One small, true piece of progress you'd normally rush past. Say it plainly. Since the dark, this has grown. Next, place a hand on your heart. This is a Cancer night, so the feeling matters as much as the words, and let yourself actually feel how far that is, without adding a single but. Let it land. Finally, quietly thank the small thing you kept doing, the tiny act, the daily return, the unglamorous consistency that built the light while you weren't watching. That thank you is you finally taking your own side. You don't need to be full to be proud of the climb. Tonight, you only need to look up and let yourself see it. So, let this be the letter you keep from the quiet proof. The small, patient thing you've been tending was never going nowhere. It was growing exactly where you couldn't see it, the way the moon's light grew in a sky that only looked empty. You are further along than you feel. The flat, stuck feeling was never the truth about you. It was just what quiet growth feels like from the inside. You are allowed to turn around and see the ground you've covered. You are allowed to let it land, to feel it, to be proud of the climb before it's finished. 4 nights ago, nothing. Tonight, a light the whole sky can see. That is what small, faithful returning does for the moon and for you. Thank you for looking up with me tonight and for letting yourself see how far you've come. A new letter from the sky arrives every single day, and as the crescent keeps filling toward full over the coming week, we'll keep noticing the quiet proof together. Until tomorrow, be proud of the small things you kept doing and walk gently.